Welcome back to Shadow Man Remastered. We're about to head into the Temple of Prophecy, where we'll encounter the sisters again, and where we will be getting a very useful power-up. Let's hear Mike's comments on that.
In praise of the Gad, tattooed trinity, drumming ineffable power burning through the flesh. My ebon body wrought with arcane designs, drawn by the Deadside's dragon breath, and entreated by the talons of the terrible mother. Dread beauty brings them unto me, palms to flame, souls to fire, black blood song coursing through the dragon's searing veins.
Mike is way into his new tattoos. More so than most people are into their tattoos. Here's a door, a level 7 door. We cannot open it because we are still only on level 6. However, I do believe we will be reaching level 7 before we're done with the temple. So, hey, we can come back here once we're done and open that up. There's our teddy bear point for the Temple of Prophecy. And here is a big symbol of a foot, for those of you who enjoy that kind of thing. There's a Govee up there, but it is too high. We cannot reach it. There's also a block partially sticking out of the wall. It might look like there's a puzzle here. There isn't. We'll just be approaching that from a different direction later. And the foot is sort of a clue as to what we might be finding in the temple. Here's one of these plates. Once again, we cannot open this. We don't have the item to do it. This plate is for later, not now. But the sisters are for now. Sisters are impatient. They will not wait for later. They are now.
The sisters awake.
I think the sisters, as they're asleep, know what's going on. Like, they already know that Mike has been through the Temple of Fire and is getting all these Dark Souls, and they're like, God, spend all that time putting them in the Govee. Like, there are 120 of them. We did them all, and now this guy is just traipsing his way like he owns the place. Open them all up. Or would they have just attacked anyone who entered the temple? Hard to say. How many people actually find these temples in Deadside? What we do find in this temple are a series of, I guess we could call them simple puzzle rooms. Like, there's a statue. There's a Govee up there. How do we get it? They're not hard puzzles. Like in this case, the answer is just that there's a button here. Press that button. And we turned on some blood falls.
The sisters awake.
We also awoke the sisters, as we do frequently. There's also a door over here. It's one of those drum doors, which again we can't open because we don't have the tool needed to play the drums. But there are some drums on the tops of these columns. Nothing to do with that yet. But what we can do is climb this one, because the Govee's on top. I said the puzzle is simple, but I guess if you had not found the point as of yet, you wouldn't know what to do with these blood falls and would have to leave and come back later once you found it.
The Dark Souls are mine.
But we will have to come back to the temple again anyway, once we get the instrument to play the drums, because, well, I mean, completion's sake, right? Gotta hit the drums and open those doors and get what's behind them. Not just gonna leave them there, right? So this is not the only time we will see the Temple of Prophecy. Mind the coals. And the fireballs. Mind them too. Did not take my own advice. I did not mind the fireballs. Over there is a Govee, but we cannot walk on the coals, so we can't get to that Govee. That'll be for later. For now is a pole that's rotating above us. Let's try to grab. There, whoop, fireball's coming. I did not mind the fireball. Yes, whoops indeed. Whoops. We burned to death. Fortunately, Mike does not mind that too much. He's okay with it. But since we are back here, there is something else we can look at. When we press that one button to turn on the blood falls, it turned on blood falls in this room as well. So, hey, let's climb these falls and see what we find. To the Lord of Deadside, burning to death is no big deal. Just a, you know, little mistake. Mistakes will be made.
The sisters awake.
I thought they were going to. I was thinking, should I try to climb the bloodfall yet? Probably they're going to wake up in the middle of it and start shooting at me. Seems like something they would do. Now, this platform up here, we can't jump up there. Not that it's too high, it's because there's like an angled wall. If the wall was straight up at 90 degrees, we would be able to grab the ledge and pull ourselves up, but you can't do that on an angle like this, so we'll have to find another way up there. Also a door there and a Govee up there. Let's go get it. How many Dark Souls are in the Temple of Prophecy? Did we look at that? There are 13. We've gotten 1. Now getting 2.
Dark Souls are mine.
So 11 left. I'm also pretty sure we cannot make that jump, but that's fine. And we're back out here. This is the, well, I mean, this is the room where we climbed up before, just a few minutes ago. Let's try jumping into this over here. Nowhere to go, but hey, there is a cadeau. And we see a couple of cadeau on the top pillar right here. Center pillar, I should say. On the top of the center pillar.
Got it.
Plenty of these locations, there's no need to turn the torch on. We can see fine. I just like the light and shadow effects in the remaster. This is kind of a puzzle room. There's like this machine in the middle with a pole sticking out horizontally. There's a button down there at the base of it. We can push this button. It turns the pole.
The sisters awake.
It also awakens the sisters. Sisters wake up. Is someone touching our machine? Is someone touching the button? There's supposed to be a sign there that says, do not touch the button. And yet, someone comes in here, touching the button and moving the pole. I mean, granted, we are being very rude. We're like walking into someone else's home. and pushing all the buttons and taking all the souls. Let's keep turning this thing. Okay, so now that thing is facing towards a button. I mean, granted, the sisters themselves don't need this pole. They can fly. They don't need to turn a pole towards a platform and then grab it and hand over hand on it to get to somewhere. I mean, Mike is the Lord of Deadside, but he never actually learns to fly or anything. So that is one thing that the sisters have over him. Let's push this button. Kind of hard to see, but that statue head went down, revealing a Govee. So let's push the button again to turn the pole towards that new opening.
Souls are mine.
I believe that's 10 left. Yep, 10 left in the level. Now let's turn that pole towards the exit. Well, now we're turning it towards the entrance now. We can only turn it one direction, not the other. Let's turn it towards the exit. Well, we saw... this is actually the room we died in. You can see the spinning pole on the other side of it. And there's the Govee on that platform. But we would not be able to make a jump. Like, that low ceiling, it's too low. We would hit the ceiling if we tried to jump at that Govee. Would not be able to get it that way. Govee over there. And buttons to press. Let's press these buttons and lower statue heads.
The sisters awake.
You know someone's gonna wake up. You may not know which one is gonna wake up, but someone's gonna wake up. No comment from Mike that time about sisters waking up.
Got it.
And just one more button to go. All right, we lowered those statues. Let's climb back up. So we have to make our way around the room to get to the platform where the Govee is. Which means it's time for a little Shadow Man shimmy.
souls are mine.
Another Dark Soul? Alright. So, we want to figure out, how do we exit this room? We came in through the top, but we see that there are 2 passages we could go down. This one's blocked by a fire block, but we can push it from this direction. So let's head down this one. This one's in a cage. There isn't a door, well, an opening on the other side of the cage, but we can't get there because of the coals. There is a lever we could grab onto. Doing that would raise the cage. But once again, coals. We cannot walk on them. It's a problem. It's a problem that we're going to have to solve. A Govie up there. And buttons to press.
The sisters awake.
Now that those statues have been lowered, that clears a path for us. Head up to the top where the Govie is.
The sisters awake. Souls are mine.
Now, which door did we come in through? There's one there. There's one there. Let's see. Alright, we haven't been here yet. There's a door down there, but again, in the coals. There's like a platform that's raising up and down. And also over there, there's like a Govie in like a little cage, kind of. Well, we can't actually make our way over there, once again, because of these coals. They're too hot for the feats. Here we have a little bit of a maze.
The sisters awake.
We can jump onto this platform to get above the maze, but first let's keep walking around to see if we can find all of the little doors to open up with the flambeau.
Got it.
Again, there's usually not much behind those doors. But we might be able to get 1 or 2 cadeaux.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe a secret. I think I've mentioned that before, that you can get secrets by traveling into certain locations in the game. As to what the secrets are, we will probably just... we'll take a look at those once the main quest is over. I think we've now gotten all those doors. Still a sister in here. Now we're above that one location with the curved wall. We were not able to jump up here because of that arch. Not an arch, like a slope wall. But now we're up here, and that means that we can get something very important. First, though, we have to make a jump. I remember on the console version, this is a pretty long jump, and on the console version it was pretty difficult because you can't just look down like this. But on this, it's much easier to make it because you can look down and see the edge of the platform as you're jumping it. And that brings us to a very important looking room, which means it's time to get a tattoo. And with that, Mike fearlessly jumps off into the coals. The coals no longer kill us. And this is probably the most useful power-up in the game, because now all of those areas that we encountered earlier in the game where there were coals and we couldn't walk over them, we can just go back to them and walk over them now. This is no obstacle anymore. So, pretty large amount of the game has now opened up because of that. Much more than when we first got the first tattoo, and we were able to touch fire. This one we can do a whole lot more with. Back here at this one Govee, we were not able to use this lever before, but now we can, because our feet... Actually, that's still going up. Okay. Yeah, we have enough time.
Dark souls are mine.
All right, another dark soul gotten. We have 7 more to find in the temple. Mike is still wearing sneakers, though, so I kind of wonder, does the tattoo... The power of the tattoo extends to his shoes. It's not just Mike's own body that this enhances, but it enhances the toughness and power of his shoes. Makes them fireproof. Now they are finally sneakers worthy of the Lord of Deadside. You can now jump up under here.
Dark souls are mine.
We could take that platform up if we wanted to go through one of these doors, but there's still more to find here on the bottom floor. Here's the room where we died before, but these coals no longer lethal to Mike Loire.
Dark souls are mine.
Let's see. We came in through there. We did climb this bloodfall earlier. We didn't go through that door. Did we come out here? Let me just take a look what's down this hallway. Yeah, this is the beginning of the temple. So we didn't go through this door is where we didn't go. Large room with a big swinging hammer. And sisters awakening. As they will do. And on the top, we can find one of these baton altars. And here is that Govi we saw back at the beginning.
The dark souls are mine.
Push that block out of the wall. So now, if we're at the beginning, we can get a shortcut back up here. Another puzzle room with a statue. This statue looks like it's wearing the Mask of Shadows.
The sisters awake. The sisters awake.
There we go.
The power of the dark souls. I embrace it.
And with that, we have now reached level 7. And there are some level 7 doors we have seen. So we came in through this one, right? More than one level 7 door. So there are some things that we can now open. And of course our shadow gun becomes more powerful as usual, as it is now up to level 7. Here's an obstacle course to some traps, or we could just go down here. We could just walk on this. That's fine. Just skip all that. So this puzzle room, there's a slope, a slide going up to a Govee. Well, we can't walk up a slide. We just slide right back down.
Got it.
But there is a lever right here. And this lever causes that slope to become stairs. But only for a limited amount of time. So let's hurry to get there.
The sister's awake.
Not now, sisters. I'm climbing the stairs. We made it.
The dark souls are mine.
At this point, we have 11 out of 13 Dark Souls. And of course, there are some drums in this room. So once again, we would want to come back later to be able to bang those drums. We did extend this line that goes across this room. I wanted to grab that. Is there anything else in this room? And maybe not. Maybe that was the only thing. All right, let's grab this. Some of these rooms, not much of a challenge once you get the power up. Some of them are really intended for you to do before you can walk on coals. Let's push this out of the way. Oh yeah, that takes us out to here. We've already done this room. This was a path that we had not taken. So we can just go back the way we came. Oh, wait, that's where we came from. We want to go the other way. And yet another of these statues.
The sisters awake.
Of course they do. We could try to climb the line to get to that Govi, but the sisters would just knock us off that line if we tried, so let's do this first.
The sisters awake.
The dark souls are mine.
Now we have 12 Dark Souls out of 13, and I believe that's all we can get for the time being. The 13th Dark Soul is not something we can get right now, I don't think. And now we're on the other side of this room, the one where we died earlier. Basically, the idea was that I needed to grab that pole, it would go around, and then we would drop on this platform here. And if we wanted to go back the way we came, we just get on here and then drop here. That's how that's supposed to go, instead of being hit by a fireball and dying in the coals. And since now we've gotten 12 Dark Souls, we've gotten the Gad, so we can now walk on coals, and we have reached level 7. That does mean that we can now leave the Temple of Prophecy, at least for now. I believe this is where the 13th Dark Soul is, if I remember right. I think it's underneath this plate. So we'll just have to wait until we can break this open to get that 13th and final soul. But for right now, we can say goodbye to the Temple of Prophecy, the second of the Sisters' Temples. Only one more to go. And since we have reached level 7, we can now open up this door over here.
I am the Lord of Deadside.
This should be useful.
And we've gotten a new weapon, the marteau. It's not just a weapon, but as a weapon, it does this. It shoots out a bunch of homing shots using a voodoo power.
Got it.
But it's also a key, because this is the thing that opens these, that bangs these drums and can open doors like this. Like so. You do that, and it opens up one of the planks covering this door. So now that means that all of the locations we've seen these drums, well, we can backtrack to those and open those up. Like when we saw plenty of those in the Temple of Prophecy. Does that mean we will go back and open those up now? Well, no, we can... That can wait till later. Don't need to do that right now. What we can do is see how this works in combat. There's a bunch of enemies here. And it works pretty well. You have a whole bunch of enemies around. It is quite powerful. That's not the only thing we can get right now, though. There are other level 7 doors to be opened. Like this one over here.
Deadside.
This should be useful.
And that gets us the third and final piece of L'Eclipse, La Lame. So now that we have all three pieces, we can go back to Nettie and see what she can do with this. For right now, let's one other thing, we can walk on this now. So since we can walk on this altar would act as a shortcut in the Pass of Shadow, as this would take us to the level 3 doors. So if you want to cut off a little bit of time and a little bit of traveling time, that's there for you. There is a level 7 door up here that can be opened. Right over here.
I am the Lord of Deadside.
This would take us to another level. If I remember this right, I think it would take us to the next asylum level, the lava ducts. That's not for right now, though, because what is for right now is we want to go back to Nettie and see what she can do with this knife.
Nettie, I found out how the five reach this world, but when I cross over from the asylum, it's always daytime life side, and I'm gonna need my powers as Shadow Man to truly kick their asses. Maybe I should just hang back and wait for nightfall, which ain't easy, 'cause the five are after my blood.
No use hanging back, Mike. The prophecy's upon us, and with every hour, we're drawing closer to its terrible conclusion.
Well, if I can't use my shadow powers on the five, we're screwed.
Not yet. Your esteemed predecessor, Maxime St. James, once spoke to me of L'Eclipse, the bringer of night, an ancient blade said to release the shadow into the world of men. You already have this blade. Give it to me. Lay down, Mike.
I thought you'd never ask. Is, this gonna hurt much?
Yes.
I thought so. Try and be gentle with me.
Bringer of night, L'Eclipse, release the shadow into the world of men. Le soleil, brother sun, la lune, sister moon, la lamb, the power that binds. And the sorceress fell into a deep trance, her powers exhausted, and a shadow did fall upon the world of men. The prophecy is fulfilled.
Agneta!
It is done. Seek out the five. Destroy them and the evil that controls them. I must sleep. Must sleep.
All right. Well, we are now Shadow Man in live side. And hey, these two Govies have been here this whole time. Just kind of sitting here, we couldn't get them, but we can get them now.
The dark souls are mine. The dark souls are mine.
In fact, there are 8 Dark Souls in total in the bayou. Since we're Shadow Man, we could go get them. Oh, there's our foot icon right there, since our feet can now walk on coals. But Nettie is unconscious. That ceremony took too much out of her. We now have a few different things we could do. We could go back to that one path that we just saw behind a level 7 door, which would go to the lava ducts. Or we could explore the bayou. Since we're Shadow Man and live side, we could go around and find some Govi and Cadeau, which we would not have been able to do before. Or another thing we could do is we could go back to those serial killer levels, New York and London. And we would now have the ability to actually fight the serial killers there and finish them off. I think that is probably what we're going to be doing next time. But since Nettie is now unconscious, we should probably take a look at the prophecy, since that is the next part of it. Nettie did quote it at the end of that ritual. So the place in the prophecy that we're at right now is here. The sorceress fell into a deep trance, her powers exhausted, and a shadow did fall upon the world of men. The next is Legion took the power of the Dark Souls into him. The end. So, the next step of the prophecy has happened, but doesn't sound like the next parts will be any good for Mike. Let's warp to Jaunty, see what he has to say.
Mikey, what's up? You're looking more peaked than you usually do.
It's Nettie. She's fallen into a coma.
I'm not surprised. She was always one for more than a drop of the hard stuff. Never knows when to stop. I tell you, she used to go like the clappers down the old White Horse Inn.
Jaunty, will you listen? The prophecy is coming true. Nettie used L'Eclipse Aid to give me my shadow powers when confronting the Five. Now the shadow has fallen, and the prophecy is about to be fulfilled. It seems to me that everything I do just brings us nearer to apocalypse, to the end of all things.
Will you get a bloody grip in yourself, Michael? Nettie may be something of a head case, but she knows what she's doing. She knew this would happen. It's supposed to happen. Can't you see that? That's the thing about prophecies. They have a habit of coming true.
All right. But it seems to me that somehow I'm responsible for everything that's happening. Maybe I should just get out now before it's too late.
I never saw you as a giver up, Michael. And even if we are in a situation of damned if we do and damned if we don't, it's always better to go out fighting. Get as many of them dark souls as you can, build up your shadow powers till you're positively bursting with them, and then go and kick the arse of whatever's behind this. I really can't give you any more advice than that.
Once again, Jaunty, I find myself in your debt. Your advice is sound. I shall do as you say.
And look, if it all goes belly up, you can come back here and kick me arse from here to Hades.
And if it doesn't, and we win the day, I'll be buying you that drink, even if you are an annoying, half-witted, skull-headed snake.
Flattery'll get you everywhere, Shadow Man. They'll be off with you.
Well, that is the only other thing that Mike can do. Just keep finding them dark souls until he's gotten all of them. And the next step on that quest, as I said, we're going to be heading back to New York and back to London to fight Avery and Jack, since we now have our shadow powers. We'll be doing that next time on Shadow Man Remastered.